Countess Tatiana Sukhotina-Tolstaya, was a Russian painter and memoirist. She is the second child and oldest daughter of Russian writer Leo Tolstoy. Tatiana was born and grew up at Yasnaya Polyana, her father's estate south of Tula. She demonstrated an early love of painting, and in 1881 she entered the Moscow School of Painting, Sculpture and Architecture, where her teachers were Vasily Perov, Illarion Pryanishnikov, and Leonid Pasternak. She also studied with Nikolai Ge. Devoted to her father and his ideals, she had rejected a number of suitors. In 1897, she fell in love with Mikhail Sergeyevich Sukhotin, although he was in his 50s and married with 6 children. For several months Tatiana had a platonic friendship with Sukhotin, despite of her true feelings. "I am ashamed when I think of Sukhotin's wife and children," she wrote in her journal, "although he assured me that I am depriving them of nothing, and although I know his wife stopped loving him long ago. Papa is the great rival of all lovers and none has been able to vanquish him yet, but this love of mine is competing more strongly than any other has done so far." Sukhotin's wife died later that year, and on the 9th of October, Tatiana announced her desire to marry Sukhotin to her father, who responded with a fiercely uncompromising rejection. Tanya gave in for the time being, but finally insisted, and on the 14th of November 1899 the couple were married. They lived on Sukhotin's estate, Tula.She, in Tula, about 30 kilometers east of Oral. On the 19th of November 1905, she gave birth at Yasnaya Polyana to her only child, a daughter also called Tatiana. After her husband's death in 1914, Tatiana moved back to Yasnaya Polyana, which was eventually turned into a museum. From 1917 to 1923 she was guardian of the museum. From 1923 to 1925 she was director of the Lev Tolstoy State Museum in Moscow. In 1925, together with her daughter, she immigrated to Paris, where she was host Esteban and Chaliapin, Stravinsky, Alexandre Benoit, and other members of the Russian exile community. From Paris she moved to Italy, where she spent her final years. In her diary entry on the 13th of December 1932, she wrote, "I have lived an incredibly and undeservedly happy and interesting life. Unsuccessful." She died in 1950 in Rome, aged 85. She was buried at the non-Catholic cemetery, Rome. Her memoir, based on the journals she maintained from 1878 to 1932, was published in English in 1951 and French in 1953. Aside from excerpts in Novy Mir in 1973, her memoir was not published in Russian until 1976. Works: Tatiana Sukhotina-Tolstaya, Alec Brown ed. The Tolstoy Home, Diaries of Tatiana Sukhotin-Tolstoy. Harville Press. Assen BOOKNKSXG.